Happy New Year, Flosstube friends. I'm Sarah and you're very welcome to my channel, SewMeSarah. It is Sunday, the 7th of January 2024 already, and I am really pleased to be back here with you after the holidays. Since the last time we met, we've had a very sickly Christmas. I thought that Charlotte and I were getting better. We kind of were, and then we both took a dip again, rather a big dip. So Christmas has been unpleasant in the sickness sense. We have 5 antibiotics between us, chest x-rays, all the rest of it. But we are doing better now. We're not fully recovered, but we're doing better now. And I'm keeping my fingers, toes and everything else crossed that we keep going that way. There's a lot of sickness about, and I hope that you and your families managed to escape. But I know that it's rife everywhere. So anyway, Christmas Day itself was nice but subdued. The hardest part for me was that we were not able to see family. We were actually so unwell that I thought it best not to share the awful bacterial infections basically with our parents, Charlotte's grandparents. So that was difficult. It's really difficult not to be with the people that, you know, with your family at Christmas. And in particular for my dad, I felt really, I just struggled because it meant that he was going to be on his own on Christmas Day. But we had to make decisions based on the information we had at the time, which was basically that we were major germ spreaders and nobody else needed to get as sick as we were. But as I say, Christmas itself was subdued, but it was nice. Charlotte enjoyed Christmas morning. She enjoyed her presents from Santa. She was tired and overwhelmed, but we made the best of what we could. So I'm glad to be on the other side of it. Hopefully, as I said, coming out of it and into a hopefully slightly healthier new year. It is taking its time, but we're getting there. So this morning I want to share with you my stitching, obviously. I want to share with you some of my stitchy Christmas gifts just to show you, and some lovely, really, really lovely Happy Mail. And also then to share some plans on what's going forward. So forgive me if I refer to my notes, but my head is like cotton wool and remembering things is difficult right now. So anyway, let's first of all get started with a little bit of business, which is this pattern, Let It Snow by Barbara Anna Designs. Let It Snow was the one of the giveaways on I think 2 episodes ago. I announced the winner on the last video on the 17th of December. But I appreciate that it's a really busy time of the year coming up to Christmas, and folks may not have had a chance to catch up on that video, and so this has not been claimed yet. So Paddy Slowy 7790, you won this in the giveaway, and if you can get in touch with me, either direct message me on Instagram, I'm SewMeSarah over there, or use the email address in the drop down box below. Let me know that you are Paddy and that you have won, and give me your address, and I will get this in the post to you as soon as I can. Okay, so I got some really lovely little Christmas, well, they're not little, but I got some lovely stitchy gifts for Christmas, and I wanted just to share them with you to, inspire, let you see what's available out there. My friend Margaret, who lives locally, bought me a lovely little bag of Christmas gifts, and among them were these 2 gorgeous items from Katie Strachan. So this is a set of postcards which have amazing images of Katie's embroidery on them. I'm not sure that I'm going to post these to anyone because they're so stunning. I just love to look at them, but I might look at them for a while and then use them to send messages to friends, but they're absolutely gorgeous. And this is a little notebook with images of Katie's embroidery on the front and the back. It's just a nice little long, slim notebook. So So thank you, Margaret. I enjoyed all of the gifts that you gave me, but I wanted to share these little stitchy ones with our stitching friends here on the channel. Hubby did well, and with a little bit of help, obviously, he got me some lovely stitching gifts for Christmas. So the first is a Bothy Threads kit called Humming Along. And I was delighted to see that you were able to order this with even weave, so you don't have to have Ada on the Bothy Threads kits. I don't know if they all come with an option, but this one did come with an option for even weave. This makes me think of Sarah at sStitchySpot, because I know that she loves hummingbirds. I love the colours in it. So that's one to add to my kit stash. And another one for my kit stash that hubby got, again with even weave, is a Bothy Threads kit called Santa Please Stop Here. And we have, hubby and Charlotte really like to watch the birds in the back garden, so I thought this was a nice one for them to get me for Christmas time. Little Christmas robins in the winter. So I was doing really well with those nice gifts, and then I also got a couple of books about whitework and hardanger. So first is the beginner's guide, because I will be a beginner. And the second one is Yvette Stanton's Frisian Whitework. These are both beautiful books, and obviously I chose them and prompted hubby to get them for me. But the inspiration for these really came from something that Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery said last year. And he had suggested that he was going to do some whitework Wednesdays or something like that. Anyway, my memory isn't serving me well, but he did say that he was interested in whitework himself. He showed that he had started stitching a little bit of whitework, and I think the hint or the suggestion was that at some point he might do a few tutorials or something like that. But it sparked an interest in me. Anyway, that's a long story, but it sparked an interest. I've always been interested in this, but it kind of sparked me to get a few books and find out a little bit more. So because I have nothing else to do in 2024, I'm laughing because those of you who've been here before know there are 50 new starts coming up this year. But yeah, because I haven't got very much to do, I would like to have a little go at the whitework or hardanger at some point. It might not be this year, but I am enjoying looking at the beautiful designs in the book and hope that at some point I will get to it. So those are nice resources to have. That's really all the direct stitching in terms of Christmas gifts from, pardon me, from hubby and friends. But hubby also got me a couple of other crafty gifts, which I'll just share with you. This one is a macrame wall hanging kit. So this is just, now he wasn't prompted, these next two gifts he was not prompted with. So he has given it a lot of thought, and I'm really touched that he got me a couple of crafty things to try out. So obviously it's a drawn picture. But it's for a macrame wall hanging, and it is unusual in the sense that the colour of the macrame cord is that I don't have the language for macrame, but the colour of the macrame cord isn't just the neutral colour, so it's this lovely warm rusty cinnamon type colour. So I'm looking forward at some point when my brain is less like cotton wool to giving that a go and seeing if I can make some pretty knots and make it look like it's supposed to. The other gift I don't have to show you, there's not much to show at this point, but it is a basket weaving gift. So I have always wanted to try a basket weaving course. It's not a hobby that I want to take up full time, but I've always thought it would be nice to go to a little class or something. Anyway, hubby found a basket weaving, an online course, and they send you the materials and then you take the online course. Now obviously I haven't done that yet. I am very excited to try. I haven't done it yet because it requires a bit more preparation and time, and we have been ill. So it's something to look forward to though. So they sent me, I've got an email link that I can go and sign up now for the class, which will be available online. It's not on a particular date. The resource is just there for me to log into when I want to. And they sent a big tall pack of willow. So there was this present sitting by the Christmas tree that was very long and tall and thin, slightly misshapen. So if it had been a little bit more regular, I would have thought, why is he buying me skis? But I didn't, excuse me, I didn't know what was in this package, but it turned out to be the willow that's required for weaving the fruit basket, and it is a class for it, weaving a fruit basket. So I've got some other crafty things to try in 2024 when I have lots of free time. But I'm looking forward to all of them, and none of them are going anywhere. So you know, there's no rush on, and I'll share them with you just as little crafty exploits when the time comes. So those were my Christmas gifts. I did get a lovely Christmas package from my friend Kathleen at Kathleen's Trodden Trails in the US, and there were lots of lovely goodies in there. But one of the the amazing thing in there was this The Light of Winter by Brenda Gervais With Thy Needle and Thread, and it's fully kitted, and wow, look how gorgeous that is. So this is going to go in my kids stash, and I think actually I should show it to you that way. That's better. So thank you, Kathleen. I love it, and I love all the other beautiful things that you sent me as well. There was an amazing finished piece, which I hope I've remembered to take a photo of. I think I have, so I'll insert it here. So it is it's a Stitching with the Housewives roundabout design, and Kathleen has finished it on one of Chantal at 141 Designs lantern boards, and she painted it all and snow sprayed it herself, and it's just gorgeous. The parcel was a little bit held up, so it just arrived the week after Christmas, but I kept it out for a few days anyway until the decorations went away, and now it's been safely packaged with everything else, and it will come back out next Christmas in pride of place. Kathleen also stitched a really cute little pillow for Charlotte, and it again is one of the Stitching with the Housewives designs, and Charlotte was so thrilled with it. She ran and straight away hung it on the Christmas tree. You can tell which decorations Charlotte hung on the Christmas tree because they're all on the same two branches right at her eye level. But anyway, it joined her other collection that she had hung on the tree. So Kathleen, thank you so much for all the hard work that you put in and for the generosity of the Light of Winter kit. I look forward to stitching it at some time in the future. Now, a piece of Happy Mail arrived between Christmas and the New Year, and I was just blown away by this. And it is a gift from Ros Clarke, who is Ros Clarke Crafts on Etsy. She's a designer and she's a floss tuber, so she's Ros Clarke Crafts also here on YouTube. And Ros sent a gift to me and a gift to Sally at FlossySewsandGrows in honor of our special year and our crazy project, our Fun for 50 SAL 2024. So Ros sent us each a little parcel, and in my parcel there was a lovely card from Ros wishing us well for the year ahead and telling us that she's gonna join us and cheat by doing a first one and a last one, but she is going to join us for part of it. And then when I opened the parcel, in there was this amazing project bag. Look at that. It says 50 on it in patchwork, obviously, and it's amazing. It's really well stabilized, a really good firm from a project bag. I've added the little tag on it because now I already have a project in there. It isn't started yet. I'll tell you about it in a wee minute. So I got this 50 project bag for our Fun for 50 SALs for our year of starts. And also this amazing Blackbird Designs booklet, In Friendship's Way. This is one I hadn't seen before and it's beautiful, really beautiful. The designs are mostly small. There are some, I think there's one bigger one, but there's lots of little smalls in here, which is fabulous, really fabulous. It's beautiful, but it's so thoughtful also because, you know, 50, friendship, and included in the bag also was a lovely little tin which contains charms, and those are little 50 charms to add to the projects. Can you see? Oh, you're not going to see like that, are you? Me and my great display skills again. Okay. I know. You could see it against this pink better, I think. There we go, a little 50 charm. And this little tub contains 50 of those. So how thoughtful, just how amazingly thoughtful was this gift. Ros, you're an absolute star. Thank you so much for your friendship and your thoughtfulness, kindness and generosity. And yes, I already have a project in here and it is Ros's project. It is the Celebration of Colour SAL. And that will be a start for me tomorrow, I hope very much. So in here, I've got my colour palette all ready. Let me show you again. There you go, my lovely rainbow colour palette ready for Ros's Celebration of Colour SAL. The first part of her SAL has released. It released on New Year's Eve, and it is a free SAL. If you are interested, you can go along and join that SAL. You can go to Ros's Instagram account, Ros Clarke Crafts, and in her link tree in her profile, you will find a link that will take you to the SAL chart. She also has a link on her own Flosstube episodes as well. And that link will take anyone who's not on Instagram can go and find the link there that will take them to the pattern. Ros's last video was really interesting. She provided the background and explanation to the first part of the SAL release. You know, the artistic inspiration that's behind it. I think this is a SAL that I'm going to really enjoy. I enjoyed the preparation, I enjoyed the colour palette choice. I enjoy hearing someone talk about things I don't know about, which is the art and the colour theory and all of that. I don't know, and it's really interesting to learn, and from someone who's passionate and enthusiastic about it. So thank you for your hard work that you're putting into the SAL, Ros, and I'm really looking forward to making a start on mine tomorrow. A little bit more about that when we go through plans. Okay, the other thing that arrived over the holidays was the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Enchanted Realms SAL, and the kit arrived for that. So this is a mystery SAL from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and it starts on the 25th of January. So you still have plenty of time to sign up and get your kit if this interests you. I did talk about it on a previous video, and we were waiting to do an unboxing just when it arrived, but it did arrive over Christmas. It just got a little bit delayed. I think the Christmas post here wasn't really very reliable this year here. So it arrived a little bit later. I had already recorded my video, my pre-Christmas video, and then I just haven't been well enough to record again since. So today I want to show you the unboxing, and hopefully if you're sitting on the fence, this might encourage you to press the button and make a purchase for the Enchanted Realms SAL. As I said, it starts on the 25th of January and it's more or less a monthly release this time. I think it's 6 parts. And it's a kind of mythical, magical release. So far we've seen some snippets of Neptune or Triton, you know, the god of the mer people, king of the mer people. And it will be interesting to see what else is coming. I think Sally said there were fairies and unicorns and things to come as well, but you could watch Sally's video all about this SAL to find out a little bit more. So today just let me share with you what comes in the kit if you are interested in purchasing this kit. The kit is available to order with a choice of fabrics. So I have chosen the 32 count even weave fabric, but it's also available in 14 count Aida and 16 count Aida if you would prefer one of those. Lovely cardboard packaging, which I really love these little envelopes that they now send their SALs in, or the kits in. And in the envelope is the little introduction card and a little bit of information if you're a beginner about you know, the stages of stitching and some tips. Then we have fabric, and I love this color. I hope it's going to show up well. It's quite blue. It's not maybe coming across as grey, but a little bit bluer back here. It's a beautiful, beautiful color of blue. And as I said, mine is the 32 count even weave. And then you get your threads, which are just tangled in my sleeves at the moment. But look at the colors of these. I always love to see the colors that are released in the mystery SAL kits, because you sort of, it's exciting to see what colors you're going to be stitching with when you haven't already seen the design itself. And these work beautifully against this blue color of even weave of fabric. So gorgeous. There's also a needle. Yes, sorry. There is also a needle, and it's usually just tucked onto the bottom of your fabric. So I was looking for it and staring at it and couldn't see it. But it is there. So there you've your fabric, your needle, your threads, and you're just going to wait then for the pattern release on the 25th. And it's very exciting. I am really looking forward to seeing what the first stage, what the first realm will be. I think each stage takes us through a different realm, if I understood Sally properly. So that will be exciting. As an add-on purchase, of course, Caterpillar Cross Stitch do their needle minders. They're wonderful, wonderful needle minders for each of their SALs. And this one is a dragon needle minder. So let me show you this dragon. I've said it before, I can't say it often enough. Even if they hadn't provided this to me free of charge, I would be recommending Caterpillar Cross Stitch needle minders. They are the best needle minders that I've ever come across. And the quality of the enamel is just amazing. Look at this dragon. And I know there are lots and lots of interest in dragons at the moment with the Fourth Wing series of books, which I've got to be honest, I know nothing about, but I do know they involve dragons. So I think even if you're not doing the SAL, I think some of you would love to have this needle minder. So it's very exciting to have these goodies waiting for the pattern on the 25th. I have links in the drop down below that take you to the information that you need to have a look at the Caterpillar Cross Stitch website, info for the SAL. There's also a link in my Instagram profile for that as well. So if you're interested, that's where you can find out more and sign up. So thank you so much to Caterpillar Cross Stitch who provided this kit to me so that I can join them in their mystery SAL for the beginning of 2024. There we go. Okay. Now, let's move on to the stitching. And I obviously didn't stitch as much as I would have liked because we were really poorly. And it was frustrating because I was off work and had the time, but not the ability, not the concentration span, or yeah, whatever. But anyway, it is what it is, and I did try really hard to get a few things cleared off my Sweet 16 board, which is my board of current whips. I tried to get a few things cleared off there to make a little bit of space going into the new year. So I was fairly determined. It just took me a lot longer than I thought that it would. So this is my Sweet 16 board for 2024. Okay. Now, the Sweet 16 board idea, I don't talk about it all the time, but just to explain it, especially if you are new, because I know that I've got lots of new subscribers. But the idea here is that I have a 4x4 grid, so it's a 16 space board. I happen to call it Sweet 16 because a few years ago I worked out that having about 16 projects is my sweet spot. I like to have the variety, I like to have the choice of having a number of whips on the go at one time, but too many will send me over the edge. So I figured that 16 was a good number for me, and I just call it my Sweet 16 board. This allows me then to have 16 whips on the go and control 16 whips on the go at any one time. I've carried 12 whips over from last year, which is a lot more than I would have liked, but last year's projects were big ones and I just didn't get the finishes that I had hoped for. So I carried over 12. Actually, 11 of them you've seen before and one of them you haven't. One of them is a carryover because it was a start at the very, very end of the year. I know, but anyway. So 11 you've seen before and one you haven't, but I'll show that to you soon. Which leaves me with 4 clear spaces that I can bring new whips into for 2024 at the moment. Now what I do with this board, it's just taped into the back of my diary. And when I have a finish, I will literally cut a piece of sticker and sticker over the project that's finished and write in the new one. That was an idea that I got from Melly Ellie Stitches. She does hers slightly differently. I think she works with a 31-day, like a calendar page, and so she has about 31 projects. But when she finishes a project, she stickers over it. She knows she's got a gap in her whip pile and she can bring in a new start for that. So that is what happens. So as the year goes on, this becomes a bit more messy looking, but it's also a sign that I have completed things and moved on to some new things. So the 4 spaces that I had created by having some finishes have already got 4 projects assigned to them. One of them is the Enchanted Realms SAL. It's already on here. One of them is the Celebration of Colour SAL. That is Ros's project, her free SAL that I am planning to start tomorrow night. So it's on there already. And I wanted to keep it on there because although I won't necessarily keep up with Ros's release schedule, I do want to keep it rolling through the year. And I have two other of my Fun for 50 SAL 2024 pieces, those starts. 2 of those have been added here because when I start them, I want to keep them in rotation as a whip until they're finished. So all the other starts, as you know, if you've been with me, talking about the Fun for 50 SAL 2024 that Sally and I are doing together. Those other 50 starts are starts. There isn't a plan to have those finished by the end of the year. If and when a slot appears on the board, then I can bring another one of those new starts in. So that was kind of my plan for this year. Anyway, I hope that hasn't been too boring. I just thought I would explain a little bit about the Sweet 16 board because it's been a while since I have done. Let's get on with stitching because we're half an hour in, and I know I've done some stitchy talk, but I haven't actually shown you any stitching. So I do have a fully finished piece for you, and this was one of the pieces I finished up before the new year, and it is a caterpillar cross stitch piece called Season's Greetings. This piece was from one of the Caterpillar cross stitch bi-monthly subscription boxes. This one was designed by Emma Congdon. I love it. And everything that I needed to finish this really was in the kit, in the subscription box. So the hoop was included for finishing, and so was this piece of fabric. To finish it off, all I did was I cut a circle of light card. I added a little bit, I glued on a piece of wadding, and then I just glued the fabric onto that, or pulled the fabric onto that and glued it around the back of the card. And then I just glued this whole circle, fabric circle, onto the back of the cross stitch piece. And that is my finish of Season's Greetings. So I am really happy with this. I might hang it, so I might add a ribbon, but I'm going to wait until next year when I'm putting up my Christmas decorations to see exactly how and where I want to display it. But I love, as you know, if you've been here for a while, you know that I love font, and I really love this one. So that was the fully finished item from before Christmas. And then I have 3 finishes. The first is G is for gingerbread. I finished the second little gingerbread person. And although I ironed it, it obviously needs a little bit more. It maybe needs some best press, but I finished the second little person. And then hopefully sometime this year, I'll get some little buttons or black beads to add. And I have a little charm for around his and her. One is a him and one is a her. His and her necks. I have a C for Charlotte and an A for Andrew, my children. So I hope to finish those off. But the stitching is finished. That was my car stitch for at school when I was waiting to pick Charlotte up. So I will need to find myself a new car stitch. But that is G for gingerbread, and the pattern is by Whilst Iris Naps if you are interested. I will link all of the information, as I always do, about my patterns down below. If you need to know about fabrics or threads or anything, do let me know. This one, I just used what was called for. I think it's Tiger's Eye, and I stitched on a 36 count Edinburgh light mocha. So linen. Okay, next is one you've all been waiting for, or a lot of you have been waiting for. This was my daily thread stitch for the last 3 or 4 months of the year, and it is I Am No Bird by Modern Folk Embroidery, and I love it so much. This one took a little bit longer than Real Comfort. If you remember, I was trying to figure out which one would take the longest, or would they work out about the same length of time to stitch. I stitched it on a daily thread. Real Comfort took 3 months, and this one pretty much took 4 months. So this one was more stitch intensive, especially in that house, but it looks amazing. I have to say, Jacob always outdoes himself with the patterns. So that is I Am No Bird, and I look forward to figuring out how I want to display both of these pieces, Real Comfort and this one, sometime this year. So thank you to those of you who had joined me and who were stitching along. I hope that you have either finished or are still enjoying and working towards your finish of I Am No Bird. I'm going to have an avalanche over here, so I need to rearrange for a minute. The biggest finish, I think, was this one, which is another caterpillar cross stitch piece. This is the Christmas Wonderland SAL, and it is amazing. This was such a fabulous SAL, I have to say. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting it to have as much in each release as it did, and the releases came kind of thick and fast, really. They were fortnightly rather than the usual monthly, but I mean, it didn't matter about keeping up. It was just, you know, to get it finished in my own time, and I did actually finish it on Christmas night. So it was which was a really, really nice thing to do, actually. So this is, I'm going to hold it as close as I can and try to get it all on the screen for you. This is Christmas Wonderland SAL. It was the last SAL that Caterpillar Cross Stitch did for 2023. It is available as a kit. It is available as a downloadable PDF pattern on their website. So if you are interested, I heartily recommend it. I think it's a great winter stitch, regardless of the fact that it has a Christmas tree slap bang in the middle. The rest of it is just a fabulous winter stitch. And as I've said before, those little skiers and snowboarders and that swooshy snow, I think might be my favourite part. But there are so many lovely details because, of course, I love the post box. You know, I've got a thing about red post boxes, and I love the red telephone box as well. So thank you to Caterpillar Cross Stitch for inviting me to join you on this SAL. I absolutely loved every stitch, and I think it's an amazing piece that you have offered to your customers. So that is all of the finishes, and that left those lovely 4 spaces for me on my Sweet 16 board. I then had to choose a new daily thread stitch for January, and I thought I'd go back to what my daily thread kind of originally was, which was not necessarily to do a project from start to finish as a daily thread, the way that I did with I Am No Bird and Real Comfort. Originally the thought was to pick up on something that needed a little bit of a push and to put 1 thread length of stitching in every day that I stitch. Then I put that thread length in first before I stitch whatever else it is that I'm working on. So in that vein, I have decided that for January, my daily thread will be the Dimensions kit for Oh Holy Night Advent Calendar. And I am going to try and push this one to a finish in 2024. So for January, my plan is to do a daily thread, initially working in this fill-in blue background, and also a daily thread of backstitch up here in the stable seam. I thought that might help me to make progress and chip away at it. So you can see that I started with the blue fill-in up here, and also worked on a little bit more of the side of Jacob's head dress and the donkey's face. So you can see it coming to life by the backstitch picking out all of the detail in this gorgeous little stitch. So that is my plan for January. I may not finish it in January, and I may not continue it as my daily stitch in February, but it should get a boost from that attention, I hope, this month. So I love it so much. I really do. And I really hope that I can make it finish this year. For those of you who weren't around for the story of this stitch, it was purchased in 2006 and started then. It was initially to be an advent calendar for my son, who was 5 years old then. He was probably 4.5 when I bought it. And he's now 22. So this will be for Charlotte, really. But I have to say, it's just nice to have the memory of it and the associations of him with it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it finished, because it's more beautiful than I thought it would be. And I did think it was cute and it was nice, but I really do think it's beautiful. So that is my daily thread, and a little bit of progress on that. Not very much at the moment, but we're on day 7 and I've only had 4 stitching days. So it hasn't had a huge amount of attention just yet, but little and often does make a difference, as I've shown and proved before. Okay, the next piece of stitching is a new start. And this is the one that I was talking about, that I started before the new year. So when you're planning a year of 50 new starts from the 1st of January, the obvious thing to do is to go and buy a new pattern and a new chart 3 days ahead of that, and make a start in 2023 at the very end of the year. No, not sensible at all, but you know, sensible's not coming into it. I was feeling unwell and sorry for myself, scrolling Instagram, and came across a post by Chasing Alex. Alex is a lovely Flosstuber and stitcher from New Zealand, and she had posted her start of Gilmoreisms, which is a new SAL by Forbidden Fibre Co. And Gilmoreisms is related to the Gilmore Girls, so it's going to be little sayings and snippets, I think, obviously to do with the Gilmore Girls. And that is a series that I loved. It's just a comforting watch, and I really enjoyed it. So I was straight on there, really. I was straight onto the website, had a look, decided that I would go for it as a start right then and there, and I did. So at the time, so that was about the 28th or 29th of December, and at that stage the SAL hadn't released, so it released on the 1st of January, part 1, but at that time the borders were available. So let me show you to make a bit more sense of this. So the SAL is a series of borders, little, kind of like little picture frames, of different shapes and sizes, all to make one piece. And then each weekly, it's a weekly release pattern if I remember right, each weekly release then has the design to fill in the borders that you have stitched. So you get the borders ahead of time is what I'm trying to say. So that's what I was able to make a start on, was having the borders ready, which meant that when the 1st of January release came, I was able to complete the first little stitch, which is Cat Kirk. He's smart, he knows things. That's about Kirk's manic cat. So these are things that will be relevant to those who have watched Gilmore Girls. I do recommend it if you haven't already seen it. It's a very nice series and is currently available in the UK on Netflix, and I'm sure it's available on Netflix elsewhere as well. Anyway, that is Forbidden Fibre Co. if you are interested, and please don't shout at me for enabling you. My next new start, of course, is what I should have been focusing on, which was a new start for my 50th birthday adventure with Sally from FlossySewsandGrows. So we are doing 50 new starts in 2024 in celebration of our 50th year, and we have each planned out our 50 starts. Some of those will be the same and some will be different. We are working also to some prompts that you as our viewers provided for us back in kind of October, November time. And we're working to try to make some of those prompts, to fulfill some of those prompts in our stitching. So there is a link down below which allows you to go and see what those prompts were or are, and Sally and I will be working through them. If you fancy stitching along by choosing one of the prompts, then please do. You can stitch along by choosing one of the same projects that we choose. You can stitch along by stitching something else that fits for you along with one of those prompts. or to be quite honest, you can just stitch along by starting anything in the name of the Fun for 50 SAL 2024. We just want to encourage you to join with us, have fun and celebrate a little bit our big year. So my first start is the Twin Bird Pincushion, and this was a chart that was available to us. It was in our gift pack from Stitch in London in October. The chart is now available. It's from Girl with the Gavel Stitches, Chloe Wood, on her Etsy shop, which is Girl with the Gavel Stitches. You can find this chart if it interests you. It was released on the 1st of January, and it's a very inexpensive little chart if this is one that does interest you. It's a mattress type pincushion. So you have this front piece to stitch. You also have the 4 sides to stitch and a base as well, if you choose to, but that is what you will get in the pattern if you're interested. So Sally and I decided that we would stitch this together as our first piece because we were both at Stitch in London together and we both received this. So we wanted to make this our first stitch of 2024 for our great birthday celebration. And I have told you before that my plan is to make my starts on Mondays and Tuesdays. So last Monday and Tuesday, there was time for my first start, and this is how much I got done. So you can see that I finished the borders. I finished all of the dark blue, which is a 3750 DMC. And I haven't managed to finish all of the paler blue fill-in and the little bits and pieces around that, but that's okay. That was about 6 hours of stitching, which is roughly what I want to achieve. 2 nights of stitching on my starts. Now this one, I probably will get about 5 hours of stitching on my other starts. This one was aided slightly by the fact that I started on New Year's Day, which was a public holiday. So I got a little bit more time squeezed in. So this one for me is my first start, and it also becomes a whip now. So I do want to keep working on this one. I will move it onto my whip board, and when it's time for me to stitch my whips, then I'll choose this one from time to time when I'm working on whips. So you can see I still have the sides and the base to do. The base is like the top, but in the center it says, on my pattern it says Stitch in London 2023. I think it says something else on the pattern that's now available on the Etsy shop, because of course if you're buying it now you weren't necessarily at London in 2023, so there'll be something else to stitch on the base there. I am not going to stitch in London 2023 on there. I am going to stitch something else. I haven't actually decided yet, but it will be a mark of the SAL that I'm doing with Sally. It will be just to mark that. So I'm looking forward to continuing the work on this and putting it together. Now this piece, being my first start, it fulfills the requirements of several of the prompts that you provided, and I'm going to share those with you. So prompt number 69 was to start a pillow, and that was a prompt that Natalie from Sew Stitch Sew Nat suggested. So thank you, Natalie. It also fulfills prompt number 27, which was from Helen _AMT. And Helen said we should start a tiny pillow, but do not fully finish it until you have you've had all of your 50 starts. You save all of the orts from the year in a jar, and then when it comes time to finish it, to stuff it basically, you stuff it with all of the orts from the year, from all of the 50 starts. I thought that was a fantastic idea, and Sally and I are both planning to do that. I did mean to bring my little orts jar over, but I have started a new orts jar. I don't normally keep my orts. They go in a little orts jar and then I empty them, at the end of the week. But I am keeping my orts now for this purpose, and I think that's a really lovely idea. and I think that I will tuck a 50 charm in there as well. I know it will be hidden, but it will be known to me that, that the 50 charm is tucked into my pillow. So thank you for that suggestion, Helen. And this also fulfills prompt number 72 for me, which is something designed by someone you have met. And this prompt was suggested by Justine Stitching, who I also met at Stitch in London 2023. So Justine said, stitch something designed by someone you have met. And I have met Chloe, girl with the Gavel Stitches, at Stitch in London 2023. So she was there selling patterns as well. She was a vendor at the retreat, and I met her and spoke to her briefly. So that was a really nice start and fulfilled several of the prompts that you guys provided to us. So thank you very much for that. And I'm looking forward to more of those starts very, very soon. I also want to say a really big thank you to those of you who have joined us with this particular stitch, the twin bird pincushion, for our kickoff of the SAL for the year. So thank you to Anne-Marie, to Rachel, to Ros, who has stitched one in a gorgeous colour, to Noreen, my dear friend, to Natalie at sStitchySew, who's really enjoying it and is way further on than me. I'm just checking Instagram to try to be sure that I don't leave anybody out. I think that's all of you folks on Instagram who've started this particular one. I also want to thank Terry, who is stitching something else in honour of our first start. So she has started Checkerboard Stag and it looks great. So thank you so much for joining us and supporting us as the year begins, and there will be lots of opportunity to continue to join in as the year progresses. So thanks a million, everybody. Okay, I've got a little bit of quilting news for you. If quilting isn't your thing, then please skip forward about 3 or 4 minutes and we'll be talking about plans, but quilting does form part of my plans as well, so I wanted to talk about quilting first and then talk about my plans. So do feel free to skip forward. It's not very lengthy, but I do have a little bit to share. And I know some of you are also keen quilters. So I have started, as you know, the Shine On Sampler quilt, which is this quilt. And this is a quilt by Bonnie and Camille, and it is in the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book. And Fat Quarter Shop did a SAL for this quilt when it was first released, and I bought everything and hoped to start it then, but didn't get to it. They have now, there's a new fabric line out by Bonnie, by Camille, Ros Kelly, and in order to promote that, they have recolored the SAL in the new fabric line, and they're doing a new SAL anyway, which is, I think, Shine Bright it's called. But basically they're starting the SAL over again, and I thought this was a good time. They started in November. They started in November, and I thought it was a good time for me to actually pick up on the SAL that I had intended to do at the beginning. So I did my November blocks and I shared those with you. I have missed the December blocks just because December was crazy with Christmas and illness and all the rest of it. But I picked up on the January blocks on Friday evening. I started to do a little bit of patchwork, and I cut the blocks for December and I cut the blocks for January, but I stitched the January ones. So the December ones are still waiting to be stitched. But here are the January blocks, and I'm just gonna try and find them in the book so I can give you the correct name for them if they interest you. First is a checkerboard block, and that is this one. Just bright mix of colors. I am not using the Shine On fabric line entirely. I have a few of the prints from the Shine On fabric line in here, and the rest are other are prints from other collections, Bonnie and Camille collections. I love Bunny and Camille fabric, really love it. So I have got a nice little stash of it and wanted to use that up. So I've gone for the same colorways, if you like, that the book suggests, but not necessarily the exact fabrics. So this row was red, this diagonal row was red, and this one was pink, and this one was navy, and this one was aqua. But I've chosen different reds, pinks, navies, aquas. So that is checkerboard. Then there is the cheerful block. I'm just trying to remember which one of these two remaining blocks is the cheerful block. Let me see. It's the flying geese block, this one. So this is the cheerful block. Again, I just chose a red and a navy, but they're different from the ones the book specified. This one was a slightly smaller finish at 10.5-inch squares. And then we have the crisscross block, which should be this remaining one. I just want to check. Yes, it's the crisscross block. So I really enjoyed stitching these and trying to get myself back on track again. I have the 3 December blocks to catch up on, but I've got, hopefully my Friday mornings in January will be spent doing a little bit more patchwork, and I will hopefully catch those up. Now that I've got the January blocks done, I've still got some of January left, obviously. So that is the Shine On block from the Quilt Bee book. Shine On Quilt from the Quilt Bee book. The other thing that I started was that I got together with a few friends yesterday. These are the friends that I sometimes go up the North Coast with, and we do a little stitching weekend together. But we just got together for a couple of hours, had a cup of coffee, and got the sewing machines out yesterday and decided to start a scrappy pattern. So what we did was we chose a scrap block, which was actually from a Jelly Roll book by Pam Lintott. I adjusted that very slightly. Give me a second and I'll get the book for you. The book is called Jelly Roll Quilts, and it's by Pam and Nikki Lintott. There you go. This is, well, I've had this book for quite some time. The quilt that this block is based on is called Sparkling Gemstones, if I can find it. I have a bookmark in, but the bookmark is not in the right place. So that's not very helpful. Let me see. Here we go. So that is the Sparkling Gemstones quilt. Now, the quilt, this book is designed for quilting from the Jelly Roll and for cutting from Jelly Roll. So we were not going to be doing that. We are just bringing all of our scraps together and cutting from scraps. So I made some adjustments to help us all to be able to do that. And so our cutting instructions are a little bit different, so not exactly as the book, but the block ends up being the same. And we are just combining our scraps. We are cutting a load of rectangles, and we are just mixing and matching and sharing fabrics so that we have a good distribution of scraps. And this is the start of mine. So I got 6 little blocks stitched yesterday because they're very speedy once you have your cutting ready. They are very speedy and they're very simple to chain piece. So, and it's a good job because we're going to need 108 of them. But anyway, 6 down, 102 to go. Actually, I have 7 because I did a sample block for my friends. It doesn't fit on the board here though. So yeah, 101 to go. So that is just a great scrap buster, and as you can maybe see that I've used different whites and white on whites and slightly creamier ones. I'm gonna mix the backgrounds to try to use up a lot of my leftover fabrics as well. So that is that little bit of quilting for you. Okay, on to plans. So my plans are that I will hopefully be back with you in about 2 weeks' time, back to hopefully a regular 2-week cycle. I was pretty good at keeping on that last year. There were a couple of times when it just slipped a little bit, but mostly 2 weeks works really well for me in terms of recording. So in the time between now and then, I hope to have 2 more starts for the Fun for 50 2024 SAL. No, Fun for 50 SAL 2024. Let's get the hashtag right. I hope to have 2 more new starts. In the last video, I shared with you all of my January starts, what they're all going to be. The second one is a celebration of colour SAL. That is the one from Ros Clarke Crafts, and it is the one that is currently specially stowed in my 50 project bag. So I will be starting that tomorrow. And then number 3, which will be next Monday and Tuesday, will be the Snow Globe Magic, and that is a Brenda Gervais pattern from the Snowball booklet. So those will be my next starts for the 50 Starts adventure. And then I hope to be able to get to some full coverage work. It had been my plan to spend Friday evenings this year doing about 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours of stitching on my full coverage piece, which is Woman in a Field of Flowers 1. And I didn't get to it this Friday night. I was so exhausted. I went to bed early, like really, really early. So I think just recovering really, and back at work and all of that. I was absolutely shattered. So I didn't get to it on Friday night, but I hopefully will this Friday night, Friday afternoon and the evening. And I'm looking forward to my friend, my Flosstube friend here, Joanne Neufeld, who is going to join me in a full coverage piece. She's chosen a gorgeous piece and she is going to stitch along with me on Fridays. So we're both hoping for a little bit of consistency will make progress. It's better than, 100 stitches or 200 stitches every Friday is got to be better than a 400 stitch burst twice in the year. So that is my plan for the full coverage piece. I would like to be able to stitch a little bit more of the Gilmoreisms when the next release of that comes out. I don't believe I'm going to be able to keep up with that fully because it's weekly releases, but at least at the beginning, if I can keep up with a few of the releases, that would be good. And then I want to touch on 2 of my older whips that I've been carrying for a while. One is Alice in Wonderland by Oil Forest Embroidery, and the other is Turquoise Teacups, which is a Luca S kit. So I hope to be able to show you some progress on all of those things next time that we come together. For my quilty plans, I want to make up those December blocks that I missed that I said to you. And I also want to do a few more blocks for the spelling bee quilt, which I'm making progress on. Didn't have a huge number of blocks left to be made on that, but yeah, I want to get back to that. So as I said, hopefully, the December period is just so crazy and so out of routine. And I'm just hoping that as we slide through January, we can regain just a normal weekly routine, which means that I should have some quilting time on a Friday morning. And that's about it for today, folks. Before I leave, I came across this this poem by Donna Ashworth, and some of you may have seen it because it has come up on my Instagram feed, and I'm sure for some of you it's also come up. But it's a poem for the new year, so it's really a poem for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, but it really touched me, and I thought that maybe I could share it with you, and maybe for some of you it would hold some meaning too. So forgive me for this few minutes just as I share it with you. On the stroke of midnight tonight, you can resolve to be better if you like, to be fitter, to eat cleaner, to work harder. On the stroke of midnight tonight, you can resolve to become a whole new you, if you so choose. Or you can take a moment to acknowledge what you already are, because it's a lot. You are a lot, and you deserve to be truly seen. On the stroke of midnight tonight, perhaps you could congratulate yourself for coping, for breaking again, for rebuilding again, for catching the stones life has thrown at you and using them to build your castle that little bit more beautifully. And if you have used those stones to block yourself in for the heel, perhaps you can realign them this year. Make a grander gate, not a higher wall. You have endured, my friend, through times you thought unendurable. You did. And I don't see the need to resolve to become a whole new you when you are already so very much indeed. Happy New Year. You made it. Now let us face another 365-day turn together, arms wide, accepting, embracing and seeing one another for all we truly are, bricks and all. I know that here on this channel you accept me bricks and all, and I thank you so much for that. And I hope that as a community that's what you will find here, acceptance, bricks and all. Thank you so much to all of you, and I look forward to going on in 2024 with you. I hope to be back in 2 weeks' time. Until then, stay well and stitch happy. Bye.